All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday team call, which we call the 30-Minute Mentor Series. Today, we have a special guest on, Alida, and I'll give her a proper introduction in just a minute after we go through the announcements. As you guys know, Super Saturday just happened. Some of them were on Friday, some on Saturday, some on Sunday. I'm still blown away every time by our CEO, Carl Deichler. He was at like 5 Super Saturdays. He was like one Friday, one Saturday morning, flew out, was at another one Saturday afternoon, was at some on Sunday. And many of you guys may have guy coaches on your team. If they're struggling or they're not figuring this out, like my greatest example of a coach to follow, like the example to follow for me is Carl Deichler. Like he acts like a coach. He's doing selfies on social media, teaching. He's always fired up in casting vision and belief. And so it's a great he's a great example for us to follow. So super excited since Super Saturday is over. If you missed it, if you missed Super Saturday, I haven't checked yet, but they usually in the video library in your Coach Online office, video library is on the right-hand side towards the bottom. They usually go over there and put in the Super Saturday video, the corporate video. It's important that you go to the event and be there live and in person because nothing can compare to that. But if you missed it, that video should be over there sometime this week if it's not there yet. I also recorded Carl Deichler's 30-minute speech in Queens, and then also David Atkins, who's a multiple elite male coach as well. He did like a phenomenal 15-minute speech about going through hard times in his business and what he's going to do about it and what it takes to be a real leader in this company. So if you didn't get to see any leaders speak at your local Super Saturday, missed it, that's where you find the videos. I put up a couple of those recordings as well so we can kind of get that passion and fuel so we can push forward into Summit. Speaking of Summit, that's the other big announcement that we need to make and make sure that you guys know about. Make sure I get the dates right. It's exactly 3 months and 0 days away. So 3 months from now, Coach Summit is in New Orleans. That's July 13th through the 16th. For those of you who have never been, it's a Thursday night is when we kick off with the celebration, and it ends Saturday night with the celebration. Everybody usually flies home on Sunday. Gabby and I will be there Monday through Monday. We have a team event on Thursday morning with Miguel Carrasco, Christina Delgado, and a bunch of other coaches. So if you're arriving on team, you can come Wednesday night. So you can be that meeting with us Thursday morning. All the details are in the team page. So Coach Summit, some of you guys have asked, like you don't have to be, like you could be a brand new coach. So you could literally sign up like tomorrow as a coach and still come to Coach Summit. It's for everybody. You don't have to be a certain rank or anything like that. Almost every story that I've talked about, I'm going to say the Beachbody income disclaimer, and that'll cover anything that Alida might share about her story. But Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income. It's dependent on each person's individual skills, effort, and diligence. But we were sitting at dinner the last night in New York City a couple nights ago with a downline coach of ours named Keisha Fitzgerald. She's a part of this team. She's speaking at Summit with Brigitte Linford. And I was just curious because she was never in it for the money. Like, yes, she walked away from her corporate Google job on April 10th, 2 years ago from a 6-figure income and does Beachbody full time. So I was just curious. I'm like, okay, Brigitte's hit the million club. Like, how close are you? You got to tell me because she's not about the money. So she's not going to just tell me that. And she is just coming up on making $500,000 in her Beachbody career since she started, and will be well on her way to hitting that club when her boyfriend Sina graduates from finishes his whole dental degree. So I say that to ask her because I think this is a powerful thing, and I'm going to get her on this call. She's like, you know what? It wasn't until I was really all in. She's like, I was hitting Success Club 10 every month, and I was a diamond, but I wasn't in yet. And I was like, it was like a light bulb moment for me. I'm like, how many people are perhaps even hitting Success Club monthly and diamonds, but not all the way in? Because I was like, what switched to where you can make this a full-time job and where are you going? And she said, is when I went to Summit and I took Sina with me. And we just saw those people up there like getting celebrated for everything. And we're like, oh, these guys are doing it. Like, why not us? We can do this. And that's when they decided it was a mental shift. They were already Success Club 10 every month and diamonds. But that shift happened at Summit. So if you want to be at Summit, I've seen too many stories like that. So we want to make sure you're there. And don't worry about lodging yet. Just like buy your plane ticket, come, and we'll make sure you have like a room to stay in with somebody. I've seen people team up in rooms. You're hardly in the room anyway because there's so many meetings and you're out talking all night. So just come. We'll figure out the rest as a part of the team. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce Alida. I'm super excited about her being on this call with us today. She is, and I'm going to read them because like she's accomplished a lot of awesome stuff. So I don't want to miss any of it. She's going to talk to us a little bit today about identifying your niche market in a business, sharing versus telling, having strong conversations, being vulnerable. She's a wife, mom of 3 girls. They're 7, 3, and 1. She's been a coach for 4 years. She's a 2015 elite coach, a 5-star diamond. She's a SC, the Success Club 10 all-star legend, which means she's hit it for 24 months in a row. She's an organizational leader on the leadership ladder, currently ranked number 7 in Canada, number 52 in the entire company out of 450,000 coaches. So that's pretty incredible. She's on the Toronto Market Council, the Canada Market Council, and she has 14 lifetime diamond coaches. So with that being shared, Alita, we're going to pass the time over to you, and I will unmute you. There you go. All yours.
So much. I always like to start off with these calls, first off by saying thank you. Being introduced like that is not something that I ever expected when I signed up to coach. The reality for me is that I didn't know that this was actually a thing, like a business. I was just on my own journey, losing weight. I was actually doing my own thing, lifting weights, doing squats, doing planks, doing lunges and sit-ups and stuff in my living room, and going on my elliptical as a means of coping with the life situation that I had going on, which was that I had a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old, and my husband took a job away from home. So he was set to work 21 days away and would be home 7 days a month. And what I started doing to cope with being across the country from my family and being completely alone raising 2 kids, like scaredless to do it, excuse me, that's me. I was terrified. So I started drinking a bottle of wine every night to numb the feelings and to cope with life. And during that time, my father-in-law actually drank himself to death. So that was like a major wake-up call for me that something needed to change yesterday. So I started working out in my house, doing my own thing. And a friend of mine told me about this group on Facebook that I could join. And I was kind of cocky, doing my own thing and having lots of my own results. And I was like, well, that's cool, but I don't need that. Thanks anyways. But late one night laying in bed, I thought, you know what? I am kind of alone and I don't really have a community. So I thought I would send a message to this girl. And while I had been having my own changes going on, a lot of my friends were asking me for help. But then I started into this Facebook group, and this was what turns out to be my coach's accountability group. She didn't do challenge groups. I come from an upline that didn't do challenge groups. So this was a community of people doing sweaty selfies, and some of them were doing Beachbody stuff, mostly LMC, Les Mills Combat, which was a mixed martial arts-based program that we used to have. And I was doing my own thing, posting my own sweaty selfies, and my coach was encouraging me no matter what. And I loved that she wasn't making me buy something, and I didn't really know that it was a business. So I remember one day approaching her saying, you know what, Leanne, I have a lot of people asking me for help. So I've been considering opening up a Facebook group to help them, but I kind of get the impression that you're running a business here. And in that moment, she said, I am, and you could be helping them and making money while doing so. She said, how about I bring over some Shakeology for you to sample? It's actually going up in price by $10 on Friday. I was like, okay. So she came over, she brought me Shakeology. I tried it. I signed up to coach. I bought a challenge pack that day, and I opened my accountability group, and I haven't looked back. That's kind of crazy, right? I had never used the programs or products, but I saw that these people were having remarkable results. So that was really cool. When I started doing that, Sean was still working away, and I was really finding my groove with this thing. I was on mat leave with my second baby. She was about 8 months when the company decided to let me go from the company. And I was terrified. I didn't know how to interview for a job again. I had been doing that job for 5 years, fresh out of university. I went through to be a teacher, but I was doing this. I was the environmental coordinator for a construction company. And I was like, I have to find my life. What am I doing? And Sean said to me, I'll never forget him. He said, Alita, this is your heart. I can see that you love it. If you can make what you were making on EI, by the time you're supposed to have no money left, the company they paid me out some hush money, right? They gave me 6 months because it's against the law to let somebody go in Canada when you're on mat leave. So I had 6 months to be able to make the money that I was able to make on our employment income for Canada in order to stay home. He said, if you can do that, you can stay home. Get this. At the same time, I heard about this girl, Rosa Friesen, who was my neighbor, who I saw on social was making $700 a week. So I was like chasing her. If she can do it, I can do it. She was that person for me that was like, this is real. This is actually like, you can stay home and make a business. But it was never about the business for me. It was always, and it still continues to be, about helping people to change their lives. Because I know myself how I felt before getting into all of this. I felt uncomfortable in my own skin. I would lay in bed and hold my tummy and cry and think, my husband's going to spoon me and he's going to grab that. And I don't want him to feel the way that I feel about that. I felt so uncomfortable. And every day it was, tomorrow I'm going to change. And tomorrow would just come and go repeatedly. And I didn't believe in myself enough that I could actually stick with this. There were so many attempts previous to this time that I just didn't think it was a real deal thing, right? So that kind of brings me into identifying your niche market. And just check out my new mug, Shakeology and Stilettos.
That's awesome.
I had it made last week. So identifying your niche market, this is all about, for me, inspiring people and empowering people to get up and to create the changes that they want to make in their lives, but they don't believe that they're capable of doing it. And I understand that motivation it's something that is completely intrinsic to us, and it has to be discovered on an individual basis. But we as coaches have the power to be that ray of light, to be that beacon, to be that power of Me Too, where that person, for me, that mom who's sitting on the couch, who is numbing her emotions and coping with life's shitstorms, is finding some unhealthy mechanism to get through, to get by. So for me, my job is to speak to that person in my daily posting. My job is to show that person that I used to be there too. Anyone can lead a horse to water, but it takes a specific certain something to inspire them to drink. My job is to help make them drink. I want to, through my posting, be so specific. I'm not speaking to everyone. If you're posting right now on social media and you're posting for everyone, you're really posting for no one. And when you get started in this business, I firmly believe that we really are grasping at straws and we're trying to just inspire anyone, right? We just want that moment, that big win, as Angie Belmar said on the National Wake Up Call, like, we just want to win. We just want to know that whatever we're doing, we want proof. We want proof that what we're doing matters and that we can do it. So if you're continuously posting for a specific niche market right out the gate, you may not find that you're having that rapid success rate, but you're finding your people, because your vibe attracts your tribe, right? This past weekend, I came back from Super Saturday and it was unreal. The gifts that I was given from some of my coaches and clients, it was like, they know me. They know me because I am me. And I think that in learning who you are, you're better equipped to position yourself to post in a way to bring the people who are like you to you. So these people, it's like, I can be authentically myself when I'm around them because they're like me, because I attracted them to me. They're my people, right? So I got popcorn and I got wine and I got mugs and I got wine glasses. I got big bags of popcorn and I was so stoked about it because that's me. I've got tattoos and I swear, and they just know me because I am me. All right, I digress. But ultimately, I think in this business that the more you learn about yourself and who you are and peel back layer after layer, you're really able to identify who you are, what you stand for, what makes you tick, so that you can start to identify who those people are that are like you and start attracting them to you. Sorry, I thought somebody had a question there. So with that said, I haven't always been in this place in my business. I don't know about you guys, but in this kind of coaching thing, we tend to look at what everybody else is doing. And sometimes in doing so, we lose who we are. it's really easy to see the shiny things, like so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing this. And, you know, there have been times where I would go to bed and I would be looking at this person's social media, and I would wake up in the morning feeling like crap about myself. It's like, I need to do more recipes, and I need to cook more, and I need to post more things like that. Food is not my jam. I don't like to cook. I do it because food is fuel and I have to do it. That's part of this process. But the reality is that that's not my jam. I don't like it. I would be just as happy to cook zucchini, rice, and chicken. That's my kind of recipe. So for me to put that pressure on myself to be something that I'm not, everything seemed to fall apart in my world. When I could put my blinders on and take away from those people the things that serve me and the things that inspire me so that I can be me and the best version of me, I flourished in this business. So people always ask me, like, did you see so-and-so's post? Did you see so-and-so's post? No, because I don't follow any coaches anymore. I can't. I'm not strong enough to put on my blinders and continue being me where I am in my life right now, to look at what they're doing and still be me. I'm not. I'm in my own lane. Even my success partners. This is 100% true. I have 3 success partners. We're in a pod. There's 4 of us. And I don't even know what they post on a daily basis, because I get so caught up in what they're posting and what they're doing that I start trying to shift who I am, and I lose myself in doing so. So I just want you to know that it's okay. It's okay to delete coaches off your feed. It's okay to unfollow them. It's okay to not even have your success partner as a friend on Facebook. Yesterday, or at Super Sunday, we had an elite panel, and Mike Fitzpatrick was there, who many of you know. Jamie Fitzpatrick is another Canadian coach who's the top 10. His brother has him blocked on Facebook. Mike has Jamie blocked because Mike is the same kind of way. And Mike is Jamie's personally sponsored coach. Like, they're not even friends on Facebook. So compare and despair is a real thing. And you can really lose yourself very quickly in this business if you lose yourself in trying to be something that you're not. I think when you're fully able to learn who you are, you can become so much more in this business. Does anybody have questions or something before I go on?
I haven't seen any pop up. You're doing awesome. Like, I'm taking so many notes. I'm like, my notes are on the Zoom group chat.
Thank you. I think when it comes down to personal development in this business, I'm totally not saying that personal development isn't important, because I believe that it is. I just think that, sometimes we start out with things like GoPro and things to help us with network marketing and like eat that frog. And I agree. We do need to eat frogs. We need to do things that are hard first. And we need to do 5-second rule and do the hard things, or the things are never going to get done. But I firmly believe that starting learning about who you are has a much greater impact and effect on your business than learning how to be a network marketer, if you will. I have been, over the past year, listening to podcasts of life coaches, and I'm going to give you my favorite podcast. She, I believe, is helping me to change my life so dramatically that I have my challengers listening to her podcast, and I see for the first time in my life people who are actually changing their lives. So for me, this was never about money, though I'm at a point where now it's unreal that I can live this quality of life and be home full time and have my 3 kids and whatever. I'm just reading the chat at the same time. But I feel that in learning who you are, there's the change that exists is so much greater than losing weight, because let's be honest, people don't actually want to lose weight, right? They're looking for the feeling that losing weight will bring them. This is all about evoking emotion in people, right? It's about the feeling that they're going to have once they do lose the weight. And if they don't unlearn a lifetime of behaviors and rewire this story that they've created in their mind of who they are, and start believing who they really can be, and rewrite that story, then they may end up having lost the weight, but they're really just in the same mess that they were always in, right? So with the personal development component added into everything with my coaches, every single person that even messages me, I ask them about personal development and I give them some sort of PD recommendation. And it's literally like, I feel so much more fulfilled because I think that I'm helping them to change in so much more a dramatic way. Okay, so before I keep going, my favorite podcast of all time is The Joy Junkie Show. Now, she's a lot like me. She swears like me. I have a really big filter on right now, which is totally not me, but I'm sensitive to my environments. I love The Joy Junkie Show. She is absolutely incredible. You can do it from her website. You can also download the podcast app just like you do for Team Beachbody National Wake Up Call, and download the pod. And she has things like to help with dealing with guilt. We're pack your bags. We're going on a road trip, family edition or something. It's all about guilt in your family and learning how to navigate complicated relationships and how to stay true to your core values and stop making decisions based on the way that other people might feel because of the decisions that you make. We know in this journey, we want to lose weight and get healthy. And some people don't stand behind our decisions. Even with coaching, they think it's hokey. They don't believe in it. There's those things that even in GoPro, Eric Worre says, like, your family and your friends are going to be the biggest people who have dissension against what it is that you're doing. And that's a real thing, right? It's not always your family and friends who are going to support you. They're trying to protect you, and they don't want to see you get caught up in some pyramid scheme and all that stuff. This podcast is epically life-changing for me, so I definitely want to leave you with that. All right. I do have some other recommendations. If anybody does ask Scottie, I have a list of my 10 top podcasts.
Okay, awesome. I'll have you send that to me and I'll give it to them.
For sure.
I'll put in the link of the video description too.
Perfect. Okay, cool. I just made that up. I have a little package that I have for my challengers. So I'm always tweaking that. But this is what I really, really work hard on with my team and with my coaches is conversations and learning how to have a messaging style or technique that allows you to not barf on people, number one, because we get so excited when somebody finally asks us for something. We're like, oh my God, I have so much to tell them. I'm so excited. And we just like, and then it's like cricket. And I've totally done it. Like, I'm 4 years in, right? I still do it sometimes because I'm like rushing to play with my kids or something. But it's really important for us to do a couple of things before we engage in a conversation. It really, I often wondered, like, why are my coaches having such a hard time hitting Success Club? And when I started seeing the conversations that they were having, where it's somebody just messages and is like, hey girl, I'm really curious about 21 Day Fix. And they were just like, oh yeah, that's so awesome. It's workout and it's containers and it's this much money and it's totally going to change your life. It's $73.85 plus tax and shipping. Are you interested? And I'm like, whoa. Okay. So let's start by saying, don't even consider that they've asked you about 21 Day Fix, period. Like, back the truck up so far back. You know what I mean? Like, that you're like, oh my goodness, this is so exciting. I'm so curious. Clearly you've heard about the 21 Day Fix. So that must mean that you're looking at making some sort of change in your life. Can you tell me a little bit about where you're at currently and where you'd like to be? Like, back the truck up and don't even jump on that. And it's hard. I know it's hard. You're like, oh my God, the sale, it's right there and they need me right now. But it's going to be there when you give them more, when you learn when to build that strong, trusting relationship. So I'm actually going to give you a 5-step formula that for me is tried, tested, and true. And it like never, ever, ever fails. Before I continue on, I just want, again, to like, change is really hard. For somebody to actually come out and finally ask you for help or to message you or say, I think now is my time, it's really, really scary. And they may have drafted up that message so many times before finally sending it to you that they may not even look at your reply for like a week because shit's getting real, right? Like, they asked for help and now it's like, oh my God, run for the hills. Like, now I actually have to commit to something. And so it's not always us. Sometimes we just have to meet people where they're at in their journey. So change is hard and it's scary and it it may take them weeks, it may take them months, it may take them years to eventually come back and be ready. This thing is like, it takes so much time sometimes, but it's worth it. It's worth slowing down to wait for when they're going to be ready instead of pushing somebody into something and making them feel like a sale. These are not transactions. People are not transactions. This is all about being a vehicle to help them to change their lives. So my 5 steps. This is my formula. Number 1 is to thank them. Number 2 is to reiterate something back to them if they've messaged you, or to find something to say back to them. I'll give you a couple examples of like legit messages that I have after this. The number 3 is to edify or to lift them up in some way, compliment them, make them feel good about something. Number 4 is to relate to them in some way. And number 5 is to question. So I have an example here. This is a message I received. Hey, Alita, I saw your post and I think I'm ready to actually get started. I don't know how or where to start, but I have been trying to eat healthier. I'm nervous, but I like what you're doing. Can you help me? Hey, name. First off, I want to thank you for reaching out to me. That alone, I know, can be really hard, so be really proud. You've already taken a big step. Secondly, congratulations on already starting to make changes with your nutrition. So I've thanked, I've reiterated, and I've edified, right? I've already made her feel like she's doing something good. The fitness and nutrition go hand in hand, so that is going to help tremendously as you get started with the workouts. I want to thank you for your words. I also love what I do, and I'm very passionate about sharing it with others, especially those who, like you, want to get started themselves. I would love to share with you and do what I can to help you get started. In order to help me understand more, can you share with me what your experience is with fitness? Is this something new to you, or have you been into exercise before, at the gym or at home? So I've ended with a question that's not a yes or no answer, that opens the door for them to tell me something more about themselves so I can get to know them a little bit more. So this is a process that it takes time to slow down and think about, but it can really help to form a strong conversation. And a couple of those elements that typically I have found with my coaches are missing and really don't allow for the stronger connection to happen. I do have another example from somebody who accepted my friend request. So I sent them a friend request because people are like, wait a minute, how can you do all these things if you don't even know somebody? First off, I want to thank you for accepting my ad. I just thanked them. I saw you had commented in the moms group about wanting to exercise and not being able to get to the gym since baby number 2, reiterated. Oh man, how I relate to that. Another human adds a whole new dynamic to home life, doesn't it? I absolutely love your recent photos of your girls. That bond between siblings is like no other. No one ever tells you that part of what to expect. Our surprise third just turned 1 in December, and I'm still over here like, how do I have 3 kids? How are you finding the transition to 2? I saw that you had talked to Doc about exercise and have the all clear. So you're what, about 6 weeks postpartum? It's still nothing that's even ventured into what I'm doing or anything. It's just starting to build that strong relationship following that 5-step process. Are there any questions with this before I continue? I feel like, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm not seeing it. You're so clear on it. Like everything is awesome so far. So. Oh,
good. I'm glad. I normally talk so much that even if there are questions, I don't really allow for them. So if
I see one, I'll stop you. I'll be like, Alita, I got something for you.
Okay, cool. I missed you. You like turned your screen off and went somewhere else. Oh, now I can see him.
Yeah, I'm here.
Anyways, this is like, it's really helped me to help my coaches to slow down and to have stronger conversations so that they can, sorry, I'm getting a cold too. So that they can not just sell things to people. I feel like a lot of times we do get caught up in what it is that we're doing, that we forget about the person. And sometimes, like for me, because a stay-at-home mom, I just closed my Zoom window. There you are. For me, like stay-at-home moms are my niche market. Like, how many times has a mom actually been out of the house or dressed or been asked how she's actually doing today? How many of you are moms on the call? I see it. We have a few moms. Like, that's my niche market. And when it comes to posting, for me, I like the power of me too. I want to relate to other people and help them to feel less alone, and to show them every day that even though I'm on the Hot Mess Express every day, I'm still able to do this. I mean, I am a hot mess the majority of the time, but I'm still growing a solid business. I'm still putting on the hats and faking it till I make it. It's not easy all the time. In fact, I highly recommend, if you're part of the Hot Mess Express and there are days that you don't want to adult or life, that you create a secret file of posts that you've written up when you are not on the Hot Mess Express, so that you can copy and paste those babies for those times, because we all know that consistency is key, and you got to show up. It doesn't matter when life happens, because life's always going to happen. You still have to show up. That's one of my things, is when I'm feeling good or when I'm on a flight home from somewhere, anywhere to somewhere, I just get out my laptop and I Google I Google life motivation or fitness inspiration, and I click images, and I find images and I just write to them using my own personal experience. Guys can absolutely be on that train. I was going to go back and share a couple of my own posts. Absolutely. And you know what, Scottie, I am always sending people your way, because there are a lot of women in this business and there's not a lot of men in it. And when guys come and they want to be a coach, I'm like, like, I talk about hormones and kids and wine and working out, and I don't really know that I can relate to you. And I'm at that point where sometimes I'm like, I really feel like I feel like you'd be better served with a coach who relates to you, because I just don't. So I wanted to give a couple examples of how I personally, people tell me a lot of times that it's true. People tell me that I have established a really strong brand. And when people originally said that word branding, it's a scary word. I was like, what do you mean I need to brand myself? Like, woo, like marketing, what is that? Like, no. But I've come to learn that by being myself, I am the storefront of my business. And by doing that, I'm attracting people who are like me to me. So I thought I'd share some posts that I did today. So I did a picture of me, some crazy picture that I had taken, and it says, I'm perfect in my imperfections, secure in my insecurities, happy in my pain, strong in my weakness, and beautiful in my own way. I am me. And I said, I often relate to other women who feel like at any given time they could crumble. Their strength could waver, and like sand slips through the cracks of their fingers. I relate to the hot mess that we have and the hats that we wear. I'm okay with the mess. I make it my message so as to empower and inspire other women like me to keep going, to do the double lock and to cry in the bathroom, to rock back and forth in the closet in a moment of pity party, but to just get right back up and keep going, to be strong through their weakness, secure in their insecurities, and beautiful just the way they are. I am enough. This is my daily mantra. Feel free to embrace it as your own. I'm doing me, and me is just fine. Please share this with someone you know who could use a hug. And thanks. So that was like, people have shared it, and I've had so many messages from people. This only has a few comments, but when I share those mommy moments, it's not even fitness and nutrition and coaching-ish related. It's just me. That's what it is attracting people to me. The people don't really care about the product. people don't relate to the product. People relate to the story behind the product. They don't give really two craps about P90X or Shakeology. They care to see someone who's like them able to do it. So the more you can look at who you are and identify those things that are going to speak to someone else, the way that you can post to evoke emotion in that person that you want to inspire to get up and change, that's your goal. That is your job. That is what we are here for, is to be that beacon of hope, to be that person that helps someone to believe that they can change. I feel that when we are able to touch someone in that place to evoke that emotion, that the change, it's more likely to happen and to be something that matters to them because it's tied to their why. It's not just a surface level, I'm going to lose weight. It's so much deeper than that. Yeah, I feel like I just got a little bit emotional and heated on that, but I'm really passionate about that. There's a book by Danielle Laporte called The Desire Map. And it's really cool to learn about emotion and to develop goals with a soul. It's, she's the one where I really took away that, like, people don't really want to lose weight. They want to feel the feeling that losing weight is going to bring them. So it's like when you're establishing your goals, it's identifying what is it that you're really after. It's the feeling of what it is that you're after. So that's really helped me in the last year to kind of identify my purpose and do things that are in line with my core values.
Awesome.
I don't have a whole lot left to say.
That was awesome. I have a question for you before we let you go, though. So, like, I can, and I think many on here can tell that you know who you are and that you are excited about your purpose. Like, you love doing what you do. And so that's why people are attracted to you and your business. My question is, how is your life different? Because, like, when you said you sent your husband away 21 days and he was there 7 days, right? Like, I think about that, like, man, there's so many people that probably are in some sort of situation like that. Tell me how your life is different now compared to 4 years ago.
You know, I was worried that I was going to talk about my story too much and not be able to actually share any meat and potatoes to send you back with. But it was really hard. Those 3 years, like Sean, we agreed for 1 year he was going to work away. For 3 years, I was by myself raising our kids and trying to build a business. And it was really kind of militaristic, almost like, 7:30 is bedtime. And if they got out of bed, they knew that they were in big trouble because mommy had a call at 8 o'clock and that was not going to fly. I had to run a business and I had to be very regimented. I had to do everything by myself. I had to plan everything. There was no, if I need milk, who am I going to, like, I need to get my poop in a group and I need to do everything. And I did. And I feel that it made me stronger, but I feel almost now that my husband is here, I feel that I'm a little bit softer. Even in the way that that my business is I'm a little bit softer. I had to be hard. I had to be hard back then when I was kind of by myself. And now I feel like he's here and he's home. And that was actually, I got to plug in my computer. I didn't realize it wasn't plugged in. He's home and he's here. And that's part of my story as well. It was because of my business that he was able to come home 3 years later. But I feel joy now. I feel like I'm not just going through the motions and doing what needs to be done to get him home and to make sure that everything was going as it should and to be copacetic. I don't know how much time we have, Scott.
That's a couple more minutes. You're fine to finish.
So when Sean worked away up north, like you make a lot of money when you work up north in the oil fields, right? And that's one of the reasons why he couldn't come home is we started making more money. And as a result, we started spending more money. So we had a very specific kind of lifestyle that we were living. And he couldn't, like, people kept saying, well, why can't he just come home to Kelowna? Well, he couldn't, because he would have to take a major pay cut to come home, and we wouldn't be able to pay for our cars and our house. So one of my second thing that I was working toward, the first one was to make that money to be able to stay home. And the second one was to bring my husband home. And March 25th of 2016, he came home. 2015, sorry, he came home. I was able to offset that income with Team Beachbody, with what I was doing in order to bring my husband home, so that my kids would have a dad every night, so that I would have a partner, so that I didn't have to do this all by myself. And it was like, shortly after that, we moved cross country, and we unexpectedly were expecting our third baby. So now we have 3 kids. Yes. Not like you, Scottie. But yeah, life is definitely a lot different now. It's, I think I found my purpose. I know I have. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. It's unreal. Like, to know that I didn't even know that this was a business when I started, and to see that it's vital behaviors every day and a little bit more. Like, I'll have a project or something to do with my coaches or this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, I still do my power of 3s every day, and I still do my 4 vital behaviors every day. I show up on social media every day, even if I don't want a life, even if I don't want a mom, even if I don't want an adult, because I have that cheat file, remember? So I can still copy and paste and show up. But no matter what, like, it's worth it for those messages that you get where somebody says, thank you for giving me back my life, which I say, you gave yourself back your life, but I cheered you on and helped you get there. But it's worth it for every one of those lives that are changed in some way. Yeah. Every second of this is worth the hustle, for sure.
Man, thank you, Alita. That was absolutely awesome. And I'm glad that you teach us the meat and potatoes, your 5 steps that you do when responding to somebody. But I love the stories. That's probably my favorite part, is hearing someone's stories. Like, you can just see you light up when you talk about having the kids having their dad home every night, you having a partner. And it's incredible what you can do with this when you put your heart and soul into it. And thank you for giving your time. I know you don't benefit financially or anything from any of this, and I know that's why you do it, because if you're passionate about something, you don't expect anything in return for that. So we appreciate you giving your time. And this is recorded, so we'll share it with everybody, because I know there's a lot of people that can relate to your story of starting, like, being that person that's like, I don't need that Beachbody thing. I'm doing my own thing, having results. Yeah. I know so many people like that, even now in our Coach Sneak Peek group. I'm like, they need to hear this story. So thank you, Alita, for serving and helping us and adding value to our team today, and anybody that watches these videos on YouTube. So thank you, and have an incredible day, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.